The Pursuit of Sound podcast is proudly brought to you in part by our sponsor, Zest Vodka. Zest is designed for people like us who love to have a good time, but without that terrible morning after regret. Okay, Zest started with an idea to make a healthier shot option. The market's flooded with high alcohol, sugar heavy products, let's face it, promoting a culture of excessive drinking. But Zest knows we want a more genuine, transparent, and healthier choice without sacrificing taste or experience. So after Zest studied consumer preferences and existing brands, they dug deep into better ingredients. So Zest boasts proudly half the alcohol content, but don't get us wrong, significantly less sugar and zero artificial additives commonly found in traditional shot brands. Alright, crafting Zest Vodka was not about introducing just another shot brand. It's more about sculpting an experience. You know, an indulgence-free drink that upholds the pinnacle of taste and quality. They stand to revolutionize the shot market, guiding it towards a brighter, healthier, and more transparent future. Yes, Zest Vodka. So please join us poolside, surrounded by friends, and enjoy Zest Vodka, crafted for everyone seeking a healthier choice. Drink responsibly. Yes, here we are, episode 51 of the Pursuit of Sound podcast, brought to you in part by Zest Vodka. Yes, the healthiest and best flavored choice of flavored vodka on the market. They got a new lime drop flavor that just recently hit in time for this hot summer. So if you could go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners, please.
Yeah, so first of all, I tried looking for Zest here in North Carolina. I couldn't find it. So
I think that they're working on expanding outside of the Southeast.
I just wanted to try it. I thought it would be so cool for the podcast to like, hey, look, I'm whatever.
Oh, dude, I know. I wish so bad. I admire that you actually made the effort to check it out, because it truly is like, it's truly an absolutely delicious flavored vodka. Like, I've had a bunch of flavored vodkas, and I mean, the fact that they make this one here in Charleston as well, it's just that much better. I mean, it truly is
pretty dope.
It's truly fucking delicious. Like, I cannot lie.
Nice.
But yeah, Jesse.
Yeah. So my name is Jesse Cooker. I am the founder, co-founder, and leader of the world's first, best, and only religion based exclusively on rock and roll music, Dingir Zoo.
Dingir Zoo. Insert crowd. Ah! Dude, that's what's up. Okay, I didn't know that it was like religion based.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, catch me up.
So you're kind of in a cult. I mean, but I mean, as far as cults go, it's like the coolest cult.
Yes.
So because we don't ask our members for anything, we only give, and we give the gift of music, and we share the gift of music with others and the people in the group. And so I mean, I've got a whole origin story. Tell me how deep or you want to go, and I'm willing to go.
Give us, like, I'd say maybe like a couple to a few minutes worth of an origin story.
Okay. So Dingir Zoo started really as a conversation. I came into work one day and I was interacting with a good friend of mine, and her husband is in a band, a local band here in the Raleigh-Durham area. And I was complaining that there was no religion based on rock and roll music. So I said, why isn't there a religion based on rock music? That's a religion that I could get behind.
Okay, so the religion is rock music.
It's literally rock music.
Okay, because I almost started to get the idea like that it was like religious based rock and roll.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no.
Like, I'm starting to think
No.
where I'm like, yeah, like my band's called Gods. I didn't know if like
You thought that's how you got in.
I mean, like, but go on.
No, so yeah, we started a Facebook group, and it was just like me and Kimberly, the co-founder, and like 5 of our friends who would join any Facebook group we established, like Grave Robbers Facebook group. And
yo, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so we ended up about a month into it. We had like 10 members. We grew to 10 members, and I said to Kimberly, I was like, "Hey, look, I researched like all the stuff that would be required to create an actual legit religion, and it seems like a lot of paperwork and like and it costs $60." And so she looked at me dead in the eye. That's it.
You can make a religion for $60.
Exactly,
What?
dude. I mean, exactly.
Okay,
So
go on.
she looked at me dead in the eye and said, "I think you've got a commitment problem." So I was like, "All right, it's on. Like, we're starting this religion." So the North Carolina Secretary of State on October 24th, 2002 established Dingir Zoo as an official religion. I am the head, the High Gala. So a Dingir Zoo, I should say, is Sumerian for God and rock or knowledge. And we just picked Sumerian because it's kind of cool, and it's the oldest language. So yeah, it just seemed to make sense. And Gala in Sumerian is priest. So I am the high priest of Dingir Zoo. I don't know. I mean, other than the cool factor, there's no other connection to Sumerian or cuneiform, or because our symbol, our logo is also the cuneiform, the written form of Sumerian language.
Oh my god, that's really cool. I was wondering about the High Gala thing, and I was like, we'll get to that for sure. And
I'm the man, baby.
Dude, you're like a priest. What? Yo.
So, we started the Facebook group, and eventually we got the idea of a cover band joined, and we were like, what we should do is provide a platform for sharing music of like, independent rock bands, like rock bands that are out there that are making music. And so that's where the recruitment idea came from. And so we went out and we started recruiting bands. And about 60 bands in, we started the radio show, which, shameless plug, we do every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on howlingrockradio.com. And yeah, and we feature the music of the bands in Dingir Zoo who have committed to our religion, which is, I mean, admittedly pretty easy. All you got to do is join the Facebook group. So, but that's funny in and of itself, making them join a Facebook group. I mean, how stupid is that?
I mean, if it's that simple, then it's that simple. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you just become indoctrinated into a religion by simply joining a Facebook group is something I literally have never even heard of this idea at all. And so I'm like low-key, high-key mind blown.
Wow.
I'm like, dang, you're a priest. Do you have any of your bands coming up being like, Father, I have sinned and I must confess. I broke a string on this solo, and I don't even know. Like,
so I do have. There's a band out of England called Haggard Cat. They're kind of like I wouldn't call them a punk band. They're like high octane band, but they when they joined, like, I try to support our bands. Like, so I go to their shows. Obviously, I buy their merch, and especially if they have vinyl. I'm a vinyl head.
Hell yeah!
But I bought one of their T-shirts, and they sent me an autographed picture that, and this beautiful, beautiful note. Just thanking me, and they sent me a free 7-inch vinyl, and then they, on their autographed picture, they wrote, "The power of Dingir Zoo compels us."
Oh,
And,
what?
dude, I thought I was gonna die. Like, I was like, what is going on here? Like, I mean, and I love, like, this is like one of the bands that I listen to regularly. So, it's such a thrill for me to, like, first
Whoa.
to be considered in their orbit, but really it's, an honor to, like, introduce their music to others. I mean, that's kind of what it's come to, and what it's all about for me, is being able to share the music of these bands who are so deserving of a platform.
Amen. And I just, I respect and commend that so much. And I'm curious. So how many, you mentioned the last figure was 60 bands. What is it? Where is it now? Like, how many bands are, like, on the roster, so to say?
Yeah. So we have about 200 bands.
Oh my God. What?
Give or take. Yeah. And
all over the world.
All over the world. We don't, the only continent Dingir Zoo is not on is the Antarctic. Every inhabitable, and there's a debate about what's inhabitable. I've had this conversation with others.
Oh my God.
Every place where you can actually live and, like, go to school and, like, go to a restaurant, any continent that has that, there's a Dingirist on it.
What do you think is, like, the most, like, obscure foreign area that, like, where a band is from that y'all have?
So there was a band, a Turkish, a stoner band called Strider. For a long time, that's who I would have said was, like, they're really counterculture to the Turkish culture. But there was a band who joined, and they reached out to me on Instagram, and they said, "Hey, would you listen to our music?" and blah, blah, blah. And they're from somewhere in India. And so, I mean, that might be because you don't get a lot of Indian rock. So yeah, we have, but I would say, other than that, a lot of our bands come from England and from, places in Europe, across Europe, and Australia, some of the more traditional hotbeds. But we've got a shit ton of bands from South Africa. The South African music scene is, like, amazing, incredibly talented artists that, are so in such a isolated part of the world because they're at the tip of Africa. And so it's a trek to get to Europe. It's a trek to get to Australia and to the US. So they've kind of, like, developed their own music scene, and it's really awesome. And of course, we've got a lot of American bands.
What do the South African bands sound like? Are they like the ones that you affiliate with? Are they sort of like rock, or is it clearly, like, South African, like, influenced culturally? Like, what is that?
No, it's rock. I mean, and they span the genres just like they would anywhere. So one of the bands, Rough Magic, they call themselves stoner glam. They actually just did a tour in Europe. They're awesome. We Kill Cowboys. They're probably more traditional grunge rock.
We Kill Cowboys.
We Kill Cowboys. That's but they say that they're very peaceful.
They'll smoke Marlboro Reds, the Cowboy Killer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those cats they're fronted by this female tattoo artist, and that girl's got some pipes, and it's all about, so you can't, like, buy yourself into Dingir Zoo. You can't, talk your way in. Your music has to be good, and and this is my own personal opinion, so I'm the judge and jury.
Yeah. Good.
I have two. Yeah, I have two admins, or two. My co-founder Kimberly, and I think my the other admin of the group, Kyle. He's from Charleston, and
Oh, I think I do. Wait, does he have
he
a
plays.
beard?
No, he plays bass for Talon-X, a band that's just starting out in Charleston. But he is a huge fan of Gods. Like,
I probably know him. Yeah.
yeah.
Do they have an Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's new. It's like they're just starting out. I don't even think that they have a demo out. But I met Kyle on the All Them Witches, a fan page, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I have this rock cult over here. It's pretty fun. You want to join?" And he went bananas for it. Like, I mean, he just like immediately understood what we were trying to do, and how we're promoting. And then like a month later, he became the third in command at the cult, because he's like so dedicated. So oftentimes, if I'm unsure about a band, because my wheelhouse is kind of stoner, desert, progressive, psychedelic rock. So I reach to Kyle and to Kimberly because they expand my, okay, this may not be my genre, but is it good? Do you think it's quality? And if they say yes, then we will reach out and recruit you.
So for any listeners wondering, so you can follow Dingir Zoo on Instagram at DINGIRZU, and you said howlingrockradio.com.
howlingrockradio.weebly.com is where we broadcast our weekly radio show at Wednesday nights.
And if y'all really need to find that much easier, spelling wise, just click the link tree in his bio, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to find everything there.
Yeah.
But great. So you said since 2002?
Yeah. October 2002.
Wow. Upwards of going on 12 years now.
No, oh shit.
Oh, wait,
2022.
2022. Okay. I was like, really?
2 years. Almost 2 years.
Okay.
Sorry.
This millennium is already flying by.
Yeah.
It's weird. We are from the 1900s. But yeah, so what is first off, I do want to say that yes, we got to meet when Gods came to play at Neptune's in Raleigh, and that was awesome, dude. You brought your fam out. Like that was so cool to get to see you and have you be there and like get some footage and get to chop it up with you and meet your friends. Really cool crew, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, those are all like loyal zealots, we call them. So
zealots.
Yeah, so the zealots are the fans, not bands, in Dingir Zoo. So you can join Dingir Zoo, you can join the Facebook group, and just as a fan and just to be exposed to music. Actually, that's kind of the point, is like to connect more bands with fans and get the people's music in people's ears. So but yeah, I've got a core group of super zealots that like will go to shows, especially in this Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area. Like there's a show here, we'll promote it on the radio show, and people will show up and get to meet the band and get to buy their merch. It's all about, like I said, Part of what I'm trying to do in Dingir Zoo is attract better bands here to the Raleigh Triangle area because one, we've got a great base of rock music fans, and we've got UNC, we've got NC State, Duke, all these universities around here. So it's a great population, fertile population for venues to pack people in and get people exposed to music. So
Yeah, y'all are actually like pretty well located. Not gonna lie, because it made me think when I was talking with the DJ chick on the podcast earlier today. She's from Florida, and Florida is like, dude, let's face it, like Florida has so many cities that are ready for bands to be played in.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, dude, there's so many. Like versus South Carolina, you pretty much have Charleston, Columbia, Greenville, and that's like pretty much it for the most part. Yeah, versus you take that thing, apply it to North Carolina, and boom, it's like the same difference. Y'all got like a bajillion places that are band ready. So y'all got that going for you. And Raleigh is a really nice city too. I think that was like the first time I've actually been to Raleigh, even though I've been to other places in North Carolina, and I was just like, wow, like this is like, it seems like a pretty like updated city, like new infrastructure, like clean.
Yeah, they don't. Wow. So I mean, yeah, Raleigh, this area. And by the way, that's my favorite venue in Raleigh is Neptune's. So I just think it has great sound, especially for a basement venue. I just it's not super loud, it's not super concretey. I think the sound absorbs well in there. But yeah, Raleigh itself. So I would argue that a lot of bands just kind of pass Raleigh. They go to Charlotte, and then they make their way up to Richmond, and then to DC and Philly. And you got to kind of go a straight line from Asheville to Charlotte to Raleigh, and then like make a hard left or hard right to either go to Florida or make a hard left to go to up north. So, I mean, we get our share of bands, but they're either mega bands like, at the PNC Arena, Foo Fighters, which, there's an audience for that. But I want like new bands, like the bands who are packing in, 400, 500, 1,500 people, venues, the bands that are up and coming. Those are the bands that really excite me.
Yeah, me too. And it's like, from the band perspective, it's like we have the challenge of, it's like this music scene, the state of the music scene in the music industry is like so, dude, it's just so much like going on all the time. Like obviously we've experienced a huge shift in the music industry overall. Like everything obviously used to be super gate kept. Like you weren't gonna release music unless it was through a super legit studio. Then now you can record yourself pretty much. But it's like, now that we aren't necessarily being gate kept as artists, it's like the next thing is just having to push through all the dilution. There's so many more bands to get noticed through, like, and it's so overwhelming. Yeah, because it's all like now kind of just to like internet work. Like, hey, you've got to market your shit like this, and and it's just like you got to be a pro at so many fucking things, or be able to afford hiring somebody that can do it.
Right. And I mean, my experience is that and you have to be relentless about it, right?
Right.
Like you just can't post on social media once a week or people will turn you off and they'll forget that you ever existed. Like, I mean,
It's
you have
so
to
true.
stay, yeah, you have to stay in their face and you have to, pace your releases and, you know,
Exactly.
at the same time, you have to maintain a job, by the way, that is going to allow you the freedom to like record and do shows. So I'm telling you, I hear you. I hear you. It's a challenge. I don't think there might be 10 bands in Dingir Zoo that are like making legit money, like enough to sustain themselves.
Yeah,
But
damn. And see, look at those odds. 10 out of 200, like that's the reality.
right. Which makes like doing the radio show and keeping up Dingir Zoo, this cult is fucking a lot of work.
Dude,
Um,
people don't know the behind the scenes work it
yeah,
takes to keep a
yeah.
train
So
going.
yeah, and I mean, fake religions as they go. I mean, a lot of stuff I imagine goes into them. I just know in mine, like you're posting content, you're trying to maintain an audience, that shows up week after week, and and be engaging, and put out stuff that people are responding to. But I think that's what attracts bands. Like when I reach out to a band and I say, "Hey, I've got this group. By the way, we kind of say it's a religion, but that's not really what it's about. It's about sharing music." I think that's what attracts bands to us to say yes, as opposed to what are you out of your mind? I'm not joining some freako religion.
You're like, no, hear me out. Just
Yeah,
drink this
yeah.
Kool-Aid first and everything will be fine.
I promise you're not going to remember this decision ever.
It's
So
really good Kool-Aid, dude.
yeah, but having someone out there, an advocate, a free advocate, right? Not someone I'm not charging money. I don't make a cent off of. I mean, in fact, we've been operating in the red probably from the start.
It's like that.
Yeah,
Much
but
more
it's
respect.
great. Providing like maybe if I connect one person with a band that they say, "Oh my god, I love this band," and I've been waiting for a band like this, and that happens regularly. Like people tell me, "Oh my god, where's this band been all my life?" And like, I mean, that's kind of what keeps me going is hearing those stories.
So does a lot of that go down in the like actual Facebook group? Like where like you get to see the rhetoric and stuff?
Yeah, and that's kind of why Facebook is, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads, but Facebook is where a lot of the dialogue happens. And, it's where people can really, and I tell people, don't waste your time in the Dingir Zoo Facebook group. Go out to the band page and tell them that you like them.
Nice.
And, buy their merch or, buy a sticker, heaven forbid, buy an album or a t-shirt or something that shows, that you appreciate their art, because, otherwise, I mean, that's how bands, I think they translate that into somebody is enjoying us. It's a motivation to keep going in the face of, what is, generally speaking, a losing business proposition, but losing only in the sense of financial, but you still get to create your art, which is, in what has been my experience, is really what people are trying to do, is express themselves through their music. So that encouragement is golden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't have really said it better myself. And to sort of like piggyback off of that, yes, it's like you have to have that like mindset in the beginning, or else it's just gonna be like a false start and you'll probably end up disappointing yourself if you're not creating like art or music, whatever it is, for the like the legitimate passion of that in and of itself.
Mm.
Because yeah, then all of a sudden you're building up all these expectations, comparing yourself to all these other bands that are more successful, wondering why it's not working out for you, when that's not the like what is important is just to make good sounding music, do the best you can to get it out there. The rest should sort of eventually solve itself, like to a degree. You know, we're still working on it. We actually have the benefit of not as many expenses because we are a two-piece band. So it's like when we hit the road, it's just we don't have to pay for, like, we don't need to get a van, we don't need a trailer, like we're saving on gas because it's just all packed into my car, and we can just make it work like that. And yeah, I mean, like, even if just like a couple people buy a shirt, like that's enough to get us to the next city. And we had been doing this without merchandise pretty much the whole time except for this run. We finally got our first like actual printed shirts. We have an online merch store, but that doesn't really generate a lot of business. It definitely generates some business, but yeah. So
You know what I thought? Let me ask you what I think every band should do this. You know, they should have a little jar with, you know, their QR code, a Venmo or Cash App or both or whatever that says gas to the next gig.
Okay. All right. Yeah, dude. Wow.
Is that not just the greatest idea?
I do. You're right. That's like, I feel like we've been leaving something on the table. Kind of.
$5. I mean, dude, come. Yeah. I mean, of course you're paying the venue, but everybody knows the venue's making that money, right? And yeah, but you know, this is a way to give directly to the artist to like, yeah, okay. So if you have 20 people give you $5 or $10 or, I mean, whatever. I just think that's, I've said that to a number of bands, like you should have like, you know, as part of your merch, just you know, gas to the next gig tag.
What are
You're welcome.
Yeah. What do they say? Are they all not like,
no, they're all like, right? Wow. I mean, you think people would tip? And I'm like, are you kidding? You know, yeah. I mean, people have, I mean, they're going to come here. They've already spent the money for the venue. They're looking at your merch table, you know, and they're buying drinks. Of course, people, you know, I think would, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a terrible idea, but no, I think it's like the,
I don't think
it's, you know, it's like idea. The most, I mean, no one wants to beg, and you're not begging, but you're like, you're putting out art and it's effort, and there, like it or not, there's expense to it. So I just think that's a low key energy way for someone to support a band. And yeah, especially if they show up for a show, right? And they enjoy it.
I mean, think about it. Even if they really like don't actually say they're like, they're looking around and they're like, all right, word, yeah, they got shirts. Maybe they don't want a shirt. Maybe they don't even like the graphic, but they still want to like surely give you know, a little token of appreciation. That's where that jar comes into play. And I'm just like, dang, how have I not? I looked straight over that and leaving money on the table consequently. So yes, thank you for that. And we implementing that ASAP.
Okay, yeah. Or like, you know, I've often thought like some bands, they'll give stickers away, which of course I'm always appreciative of.
Yeah, of course.
Whenever I buy vinyl, they generally send stickers unless it's going through like some central distributor. But you know, say, hey, for name your price for your sticker, donate for our next gas, or you know, our gallon of gas. Yeah. So
even that, yeah, like pay what you want type of thing. Yeah. That's a really good plan B as well. Now you got me to thinking. So
I should manage a band.
Yeah, right. Like maybe start with one band and see how it goes, you know.
By the way, you guys were awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Hey, I was so concerned because I was bringing that big group of people, and you know, anytime you do that, it's your weakest link is your slowest snail is the pace that you travel. And so it just took a while to get everybody out the door and into vehicles to come see the show. But you guys are awesome. And yeah, I was so thrilled to be able to see you in person. When I saw you guys were coming to Raleigh, I'm like, oh my God, this is like perfect timing. So
It's literally some kismet, the universe being fatey, and yeah, dude, it can be a pain in the ass to get like a group of people from one place to the next place.
oh my
Like
God.
even like at a music festival, it's just notorious. Like that one person will just, no matter how hard, like the leader or whatever is trying to get everybody to be like, all right, come on, we're going to the main stage. There's always that one person that just disappears for hours.
Yeah. And I'm allegedly their cult leader, and I can't get them to friggin' say, hey, bring your pizza in the car with you and eat on the way, and we'll get there in time. Instead of, no, we'll wait here with your comfortable napkin for you to finish and be late. And
Oh my God.
I just hate being late for anything.
And you said alleged cult leader.
I've lost control. I got to tell you right now, the zealots rule the roost in Dingir Zoo. I've got like, so we have this WhatsApp chat that goes on during the live broadcast.
Okay.
And a bunch of people join, and they comment on the music and blah, blah, blah. And, while it's playing, but a lot of it is dedicated to the haranguement of me and being critical of me and my DJing skills and my
what? They cannot. You said the haranguement?
Insubordination. You would not believe the insubordination within Dingir Zoo. Like people, like they will flat out question my leadership. And
oh my God! Yo.
I know. It's like I said, I've lost control.
Yo, don't let a coup occur. Don't let a coup occur.
No one has the energy that I do. I mean, the coup would have already taken place if anyone would have taken on the burden of doing everything that I do.
Yeah, you're like, I actually dare you to take over my position.
Exactly.
Yeah, like do me the favor of giving me a break for a little bit.
Yeah. And they get angry. Like I had to take so I've got, like everybody else, I've got a job apart from saving people's musical souls.
Yes.
And this past week I had to travel, and I couldn't do the show last week. So people were irritated and expressed their irritation about like, you should really pre-record the show and put it up. And
wow, that is serious feedback.
Yeah.
Like that's how you know it's like not kind of just like playful banter. They're like, they actually thought about it. They're like, yeah, no.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of flattering to a certain degree that they are demanding the regular scheduled program. Like, it shows that they care. Am I not right? So at least you got that.
And that is very flattering.
Is it possible to pre-record it? Like,
it is. Well, so I used to pre-record, but if I'm being honest, like it loses that zing, that anxiety I have about fucking up the show, which happens a lot.
Fuck-ups happen.
Yeah, and there's just something. Being live in front of an audience versus recording something in the studio. Then the stuff in the studio, it's under a microscope, and you're like second guessing yourself, and like is this good enough, and should I bump this volume up, and when you do it live, it is what it is. And the zealots, they love the chat. So I'm telling you, if I shut down the chat, I think I would have an all and out rebellion on.
Oh my God! So yeah,
because it's a community. It's a community of people who just have learned to they love each other. People who have never met are so connected on that chat, and I see it when somebody joins who hasn't been there for a week or two. Like it's so they celebrate the people, and yeah, I mean, it's just been something I hadn't anticipated it being. It became something really special, honestly.
It's clearly taken on a whole life of its own, and which that's got to be like when because it's like, yeah, I can imagine you sit there and you just like work so hard, week after week, and just trying to build the momentum, and then all of a sudden it's like you can feel like the engine like get that second heartbeat, and like you're just like, whoa, like almost like a goosebump moment. And then it's because that's so cool. Like I because it's making me think about like the way everything has evolved, and like the difference between like a grassroots like sort of like movement versus like, say, like the grassroots movement for Dingir Zoo, and how it's special because it is like very down to earth and like tightly knit, versus something like more sold out, like, hey, yeah, like just come in and like, I don't know, subscribe to like some major radio show that's got like a bajillion people, and it's just like you're immediately lost in like a sea of whatever. I like very boutiquey things, and even if it's like a radio show or something like that, and just like the way that everything is shifted, yeah, nothing's being gate kept. It's not like it's just Howard Stern or whatever. It's like
Right.
you can personally launch your own show, and that's what's
Right.
so fucking badass about 2024, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's kind of like going back to, what you were saying about how difficult it is to break through the noise right now, right?
Right.
And it's such a challenge for a lot of bands to do that. And I think, again, the allure to our platform is, your band's going to get talked about. We're not just going to play your song. We're going to tell people where you're playing next, like who your influences are, the members of the band, where you're from, and where they can get your merch. Like, I mean, and it might be annoying as hell for the audience, but like, I don't roll one song onto another. I stop between each song and I talk about each band and talk about
Oh,
what
fuck
they've
yeah.
got going on. And
Yes. Okay. Go on. I'm holding my thought.
because that's what's in. If someone's out there looking for a reason to like a band, I want to give them that reason and like make that connection so that they actually go to that band's website or go to their socials and click and listen more, or go to their Spotify or Bandcamp or wherever the hell they're at, and like take that next step and commit to that band.
Yeah, I see it as, oh, what the fuck was I? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Of course. No, it's like the Kool-Aid is starting to kick in for me for sure. I'm like, yeah, like I want to get into it, start like like seeing what like my thing is that I have like literally been like non-existent on my Facebook for like way too long. I don't know what it is. I just kind of like stopped using Facebook as much, and then consequently I'm losing a lot of not to my benefit. I'm losing a lot of engagement. And I think the Dingir Zoo community page on Facebook might be a good excuse to get me back onto facebook.com and see what it's like, man, because if it's really like what you're like, community side of things is really like what you're explaining, because yes, I have tuned in for a live show when y'all played one of our songs, and that was awesome. You do take the time to talk in between each song, and that is awesome. That's something that's kind of been lost somewhat. Like, I don't know, it's you think about mainstream radio, and they might mention something about an artist in between songs, but it's usually just like on to the next one, and that's it. Like, that's so you're
To a song that came out
value.
30 years ago or 25 years ago, right? And I look at these. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man, but
You're
I'm
fine.
very passionate about this. Like, I've got a radio station here that's, college-based radio station. First of all, the college-based radio stations, they're so fucking snobby.
Well,
Like,
what does that mean? College? I mean, it sounds like it's obviously self-explanatory, but
yeah.
what?
But, I reach out to them and I'm like, hey, I've got some really great new bands that I think, people might be into. Hey, why don't you, I'll give you, and they won't even engage with you. So one band or one radio station, I won't name them, but they were like, it sounds like you're just in some weird cult. And that's where the cult thing came from. It's like, you're not getting it. Like
Wait, that's what the person at the radio station said?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're like, it's kind of like a cult. You're like, so you do understand what's going on here. Like,
yeah, but we're not we're a cool cult.
Yeah, it's not like a cult.
Yeah. So, but they'll play the Foo Fighters, they'll play Rage Against the Machine, and they'll play Soundgarden, and all those bands are great, and I love them at the time. But there are bands right now who are making music at this time, like great bands, amazing bands, and I mean, they deserve your same attention, and no one's ever gonna hear them if you don't play them on, as many platforms as possible. And I just think that they're shirking their responsibility by giving. Okay, so I don't know if rock has breathed its last breath or not, but what I will say,
no way.
I'm the same. I'm with you, brother. There's so much great new music that's coming out that if it had come out like 30 years ago in my formative years, then man, I would have been all over it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they're perpetuating, like just playing out literally like the same old shit, and it gets old. Yeah, like, and that's where people like, like I will never watch the news like ever again. Instead, I'm gonna go listen to a podcast. Like, and you can apply the same difference to Dingir Zoo, and I mean, it's just I'm really enheartened that you have seen and earned the growth. Like, is there anything that you specifically want to like talk about in particular that we might not have talked about yet?
So social media is evil. I will say that it's meant for people who are good. That's not us. And that's why every social media environment sucks, except for the Dingir Zoo Facebook group.
Hey,
and it's true, and I feel kind of bad. Like without social media, we wouldn't exist. It's how we advertise ourselves. It's where we communicate, and it's where we congregate, as it were. But I feel bad sometimes that we're dependent on social media to get our word out, but that's just where we're at. I think the only thing that we haven't talked about, I can talk about any band or, the bands out there that, I advocate for. Of course, we've got 200 of them approximately. I have favorites. I won't tell you who my favorites are. But,
after the pod.
Yeah, after the pod. I'll divulge. But I think that, if you listen to the Dingir Zoo Prophet Show every Wednesday night, 7 p.m., howlingrockradio.weebly.com, you'll find something you like. Like we've got pop rock, we've got blues, stoner, we've got a little bit of doom, we've got shoegaze, we've got atmospheric. You'll find something you like. We've got math. which I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know what math rock was.
It's like a bunch of people on stage with TI-83 calculators just headbanging.
Exactly. That's exactly that. Man, I mean, I might have to record that back.
We got a sound bite right there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really, you'll find something you like, and that, I mean, that's kind of, what the whole point is for me now is, and I don't know what the future holds. If this is all it is, if with our 600 members and our 200 bands, that's it. That's all we ever become. Man, this has exceeded my expectations, and it really has focused me on like, this was kind of what maybe I was meant to do. And I've done a lot of cool things. Like I was in 2 wars. I have
oh my God,
4 kids, and
what? Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I like the haircuts, so kind of worked out.
What? I mean, did you kill people?
I mean,
you're like, I don't know. I just threw a grenade in an area.
Yeah, I mean, we're all soldiers, so
that's badass. We can leave that one right where
after the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've done some really great things, and I've accomplished a lot just in my life. But Dingir Zoo, it might be the thing that I was put on this earth to do.
Yeah, and I like the fact that nowadays somebody can have different careers throughout their lifetime. Like it seemed like, hundreds or whatever years ago, you would just, be a woodworker like forever, and or whatever, the farmer for the rest of your life. But now we can gracefully shift between full-time career paths like in our adult years. It's pretty convenient for us in this ever-evolving society. And yeah, because think about it, you're 2 years deep on this, and there's so much more to be had. You're 2 years ahead of like anybody that's pretty much starting out right now, obviously. And so, what you have going on is something of the likes of which I haven't heard before. So you've got, nice. I think the novelty certainly going for you. And I have a feeling that the best is yet to come.
Well, that I'm really hopeful for. I think maybe the next major inflection point, would be like getting a show together, like based here, like a day where a bunch of our bands come and congregate and we put on a show. I've got a connect with a local promoter, and like we're talking like, what it would take. And so yeah, I think that might be the next, and look, I'm not looking to be the next Coachella. I'm looking to bring my family of bands together so that I can listen to the music that I love and still be able to drive home.
Yeah. No, that's like so pure. And it's because that definitely what you just said segued perfectly like on what I was already thinking to ask you. And that was basically like future things. And yeah, dude, like the fact that if you could like recruit a lineup and just literally host a show, fucking maybe live stream it, whatever, hang your banner up behind you like on stage, shit like that. You kind of got to start somewhere, like Choke Artist Fest. Was like, reminds me of kind of the similar like ground roots effort, like where like they literally just like tied up a little banner on the back side of the stage and just had their artists play. I think we were the only unsigned artist that played. They just got their crew, and just like that wasn't like their first time. It's not going to be the last time. I'm sure the first handful of Choke Artist Fests were not as good as the last one, but everybody has to work through these respective growing pains, no matter what facet of a thing that you're trying to simply do better in.
The thing of it is, with Dingir Zoo, it's kind of like a baby, like a child, as it were. Like every stage of my kid's childhood, I enjoyed at the time, but then I enjoyed the next stage. And so, like, I never look at, I remember the first show that we all went to together as a group. And I mean, that was just as great as, having as many people showed up to the God show in Raleigh. Like, I mean, every time we mature and become something a little bit different than we were before, it's all good and it's all gravy. Like, this is all gravy to me.
So like y'all usually like kind of roll in a pack, like when y'all go to these like what, maybe somebody will catch wind of whoever is coming to Raleigh, and then what, maybe like some messages in like the group, and then everybody's like, all right, boom, so who can go, and then y'all like meet up and then I'll just go.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's our MO. Now sometimes the pack is me. Like there was a Tuesday night show that nobody went to except for me. But sometimes you have like, who knew, a Monday night show in Raleigh, we had like a dozen people come. So
yeah, you brought like a majority of the crowd, it seemed. Like, I mean,
but they loved it. Everyone had fun. Like, I mean, that's a support live music out there. Support live music. Get off your ass. No, there's never going to be another day like today. So if you don't go out and see the band, you're passing on an opportunity. Netflix is always going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Prime Video, it's always going to be there. But live music, it may not be there. So,
yeah, and live music, it's gotten, obviously I've been involved with live music for a while. It's like my love for it is constantly like evolving and reappreciating, like with the advent of better speakers, even things that really make the live experience that much more like heavy hitting. It's like I'm enjoying getting off my ass for a show more and more as life goes on. And I'm just glad that, it just makes me think about like, I'm just gonna have a squirrel brain here really quick and revert back to when you were talking about like rock, and you were like, is this like the end of rock or something like that a few like earlier in this conversation? And we kind of just touched and went on it, but then it kind of made me think, because I was like, obviously like rock like is going to be around for a while longer, but and then it's starting to make me think about just like exactly how much it's sort of come from classic rock bands to like the whole like multitude of like genres and bands, like all the side shoots from rock. Like where's band music even going to be like 50 to 100 years from now? Like my mind is just trying its hardest to comprehend what that could look like and what it could sound like.
I mean, it could sound amazing, right? I mean, there could be, when I hear, so there's a band called Westing. They're
Westing.
Yeah, Westing. They used to be called, well, it doesn't matter what they used to be called. Slow Season is what they used to be called, but they're called Westing now. And so if you put on their album Futures, you're in 1970. Like you are squarely in the Deep Purple, I'm that genre of like, I'm back in 1970. And there's so many bands out there that when you listen to them today, it's like, going back in time. Like it's so familiar, but it's so new, which is great about some of the bands that are making music. And so, I think that my hope is that after I'm long gone, that, someone's going to look back on, bands like Westing, bands like All Them Witches, and, psychedelic porn crumpets and gods and and a mother's cake. They're going to look back on those bands and they're going to listen to them and they're going to inspire them to make the same type of music. And and in that day and age, you're going to say, oh my God, this was, I'm listening to a band 50 years after Mother's Cake made Runaway. And you're going to say, I know this music, even though I don't know this music.
And me and Deslin were talking about this whole thing about like retro. And, from what I've heard, it seems like, in previous decades, it's like 20 years ago, no matter what point in time you're at, like within the past 100-ish year, whatever, mostly starting at 1950 or 60. And it seems like basically the generation is like gonna call back to like about 2 decades ago and like revamp that sound. Like we kind of it went, we had a pretty decent surge of like almost 80s nostalgia. And then now it seemed like the 90s nostalgia had been starting to come in.
Oh my God, yeah.
To like, it's almost like annoying to me, like where it's like specifically 90s in fashion, like where it's like, okay, girls wearing like really baggy pants and like literally like all this like shit from the 90s where I'm like, no, put like yoga pants back on or something like. And then so it just seems to be kind of like that, like we're trying, like it's almost like we're revamping 2 years ago into modern culture.
Yeah, grunge is like definitely du jour, right? I mean, that's what.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
What? I don't know, like, yeah, like the Nirvana shit, people like in the grunge thing. I'm like, how is this getting? I don't know. I thought grunge was just literally gonna be left in the 90s, but no, that's not the case.
Well, I mean, there are so many monoliths of like, the White Stripes, right? Is probably the last great rock radio band that you and I know, and they were just like one of the most amazing, innovative, shitty musicians, but man, that just goes to show you that you don't have to be a great musician to make great music. And
seriously, though,
but so many bands have modeled themselves after that White Stripes model, where let's have great lyrics and maybe not play our instruments to perfection, but play within our bounds and just focus on that great musical sound of that bluesy kind of, because you can get away with a lot of shit if you're like a bluesy rock band, right?
Yeah,
you can get away with playing 3 chords. You can get away with like just throw a slide in there or harmonica, and people are being like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
But a lot of great music is being played after that formula. So, and this, to your point, the grunge movement is top of mind for a lot of people. I mean, and that's, you're exactly right. People are reaching back to Soundgarden, Mother Love Bone, all those bands, and they're
Soundgarden, like saying, I'm thinking of Savage Garden. You remember? Wait, Savage Garden? Do you remember them?
Soundgarden.
No, wait,
Chris Cornell. Soundgarden.
Hold on, I know you're not wrong with what you're saying. Hold on, Soundgarden. So there was this band. Oh my God. Okay, Savage Garden. Okay, so this is, dude. Come on. You tell me It was a 2-piece pop duo, and they had that song where it's like, I wanna bathe with you in the ocean or something. I wanna bathe with you in the sea. I wanna live like this forever.
I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. I'm talking about Soundgarden, Chris Cornell.
Okay, I know that, and I don't know
the dog.
I'm looking at them right now.
Wait, you didn't,
I've heard of Soundgarden,
Chris?
but kill me now
Okay,
because I
I
haven't
think I'm
listened
gonna.
to them.
Well, no, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna change your life.
Okay.
You're gonna listen to Bad Motor Finger after this podcast, and you're gonna say, "What the fuck? What the
Okay.
actual fuck?"
I've already got it ready to go.
Or Black Hole Sun. I mean, hey, yeah, dude, you're blowing my mind right now.
Yo, and this is where it's like dude, I always feel so fucking ignorant because there's just so many bands to keep up with, and like the moment, like, dude, especially being a DJ and somebody, dude, happens all the time where somebody comes up and they're like, yeah, like, can you play like this one song, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, what? I've never even heard of that. They're like, what? How are you a DJ and you haven't heard of, whatever, the Backyardigans? And I'm like, and I was like, dude, I don't even,
Well, I mean, so, it's funny. I was listening to your podcast and there were a number of references that the comedian, your most recent one, the comedian from South Carolina.
Yeah, William.
Yeah. That was a fun podcast. And I thought to myself, so he made several references and he must be a little bit older than you. And he made several references that like flew right over your head.
Oh my God. And I didn't even know.
And so I was like, obviously you and I are of different generations.
Yeah.
But so I thought to myself, is this dude gonna think I'm like some old fodder who's like sucking the youth out of others? But,
what?
Well, because I'm like old enough to be your dad.
I guess. I mean, I'm about to turn 35. Like, I guess.
Yes, easily.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a, well, if I, when you were 15, if that's the age, no, like easily you're dead.
Yeah, you're like, I don't even need to be fucking at 15 years old to have
I'm like
you.
college graduate. Yeah. And I met your mom and now I'm your dad. So,
oh my God, you're my priest now. You're my high gala.
Yeah, Soundgarden. Oh my God, dude. If you legit never heard of them, you really owe me. So
I can do that. I will definitely listen, and I will definitely let you know.
And I'll listen to Savage Garden. It sounds.
Oh no! Don't listen to Savage Garden. Don't listen to it's like it's like pretty much like in hindsight, like the gayest thing ever, dude. Like they
don't look gay at all.
They are, bro. Like, yeah, sure they don't. I don't even know why I listened to that shit back then. Probably
that's all right. Hey, we all have our guilty pleasures. I've got, I don't know what's maybe Madonna is my guilty. I know that's not, but she's an amazing vocalist. I don't know. I don't know.
It's not a bad guilty pleasure to have because Madonna's the shit.
Yeah. 50. Hey, how many musicians can be around for 50 fucking years? Right?
Yeah, no, like seriously, she's gonna live on forever. She hasn't aged a bit. Last time I checked in on her,
maybe a little.
Smidge. It's better than some, I don't know, maybe Taylor Swift being your guilty pleasure.
Yeah, my daughter was playing Taylor Swift in the car the other day, and she's not even a Swiftie. But I'm like, I thought you said you didn't like Taylor Swift. Well, but everybody does. It's like, all right. And I'm not a Taylor Swift hater. Like,
yeah, I'm not a hater by any means either.
Yeah. I mean, look, whatever turns you on. I mean, life is hard enough without people telling you what you should and shouldn't like. I mean, for me, it's whatever. I just think that you're better if you listen to stoner psychedelic rock.
I like how you just slid that in. Like, I just think you're better if you listen to psych rock.
I mean, let's face it, there are some people who are better in this world than others.
Oh, I needed that. It was a good laugh. Anything else you'd like to say? Any questions you might have for me before we wrap this up here soon?
No, bro. I mean, first of all, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming to Raleigh. I mean, means the world.
Thank you for showing up and being there.
And you know, I love the band. I love Gods. They're awesome, and you guys are a bright spot in the group. So thank you for being part of the community, and and thank you for this opportunity. Like, I could literally talk about the Dingir Zoo. As everybody knows, the first rule of Dingir Zoo is to talk about it
it's the
incessantly with anyone that you encounter.
Good.
But you know, being able to spread the word about like some of our bands and and getting them exposed, that's the whole point. I'm a shitty DJ. I'm probably an even worse cult leader.
Oh my God.
But if you listen to some of our bands, I promise you're going to like something that you hear.
Amen. And like I said, I'm going to make it a thing to participate in the Facebook community.
Right on.
Yeah. Mark my words. And, yeah, like, thank you for being on. And once again, to all of our listeners, please check out Dingir Zoo. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, Howling Rock Radio, DINGIRZU. Dingir Zoo. Just like that. Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank you, Highest Gala. Jesse, you're the man. And we'll have to do it again maybe next month. Who knows? I'd love to have
bro. I'll bring you on mine.
That'd be awesome. Let me know. Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes this episode, brought to you by Zest Flavored Vodka. And
you have to send me some of that zest.
Yeah, I'll do my best to send the zest. The Pursuit of Sound podcast is proudly brought to you in part by our sponsor, Zest Vodka. Zest is designed for people like us who love to have a good time, but without that terrible morning after regret. Okay, Zest started with an idea to make a healthier shot option. The market's flooded with high alcohol, sugar heavy products, let's face it, promoting a culture of excessive drinking. But Zest knows we want a more genuine, transparent, and healthier choice without sacrificing taste or experience. So after Zest studied consumer preferences and existing brands, they dug deep into better ingredients. So Zest boasts proudly half the alcohol content, but don't get us wrong, significantly less sugar and zero artificial additives commonly found in traditional shot brands. All right, crafting Zest Vodka was not about introducing just another shot brand. It's more about sculpting an experience. An indulgence-free drink that upholds the pinnacle of taste and quality. They stand to revolutionize the shot market, guiding it towards a brighter, healthier, and more transparent future. Yes, Zest Vodka. So please join us poolside, surrounded by friends, and enjoy Zest Vodka, crafted for everyone seeking a healthier choice. Drink responsibly.